Is your child struggling with a learning disability while the school does absolutely nothing? You feel like you're fighting an uphill battle alone, but the law is actually on your side. Why does this matter? Here is the law. Your child has ADHD, autism, or a learning disability. They're struggling in class. The teacher is overwhelmed. The school says they're doing everything they can, but your child is still falling behind. You've asked for help. You've been to meetings. You've filled out forms. Nothing changes. You feel like you are fighting this battle alone. Here's the good news. You're not alone, and you do have rights. Under Ontario's Education Act, school boards are legally required to provide special education programs and services to students who are formally identified as exceptional students. Today, we are going to walk you through exactly how to advocate for your child step by step so you can get the help they deserve. Before we proceed, it's important to understand the system. You can fight for your child's right when you understand how the system works. Let's start with the IPRC. The IPRC stands for Identification, Placement, and Review Committee. Every school board in Ontario has an IPRC. This committee decides whether your child should be identified as an exceptional student. An exceptional student in this case is defined as a student whose behavioral, communication, intellectual, physical, or multiple exceptionalities are such that they need placement in a special education program. Now, how to request an IPRC meeting. You can request an IPRC meeting in writing at any time. The principal of your child's school must respond to your request. And in responding to your request, they have to create a document referred to as the IEP. What does the IEP stand for? IEP stands for Individual Education Plan. If your child is identified as an exceptional, the school must prepare an Individual Education Plan, IEP. This is a written plan that outlines your child's specific needs, the accommodation and modifications they will receive, and the goals for their learning. The IEP must be completed within 30 school days after your child has been placed in the program. Here's the critical point. If the school is not following the IEP, or if the IEP itself is inadequate, you have grounds to challenge the school's actions. Now, before you start any complaint, right, there are steps you should take, and they matter, so pay attention. 1, start informal, but document everything. Begin by talking to your child's teacher. If that doesn't work, escalate to the principal of the school. Document everything, every conversation. Keep a log of dates, times, and what was discussed. Save emails, write down what was promised and what was delivered. Step 2, request an IPRC meeting in writing. If the school is not responding, put your request for an IPRC meeting in writing. The principal is required by law to respond. Step 3, review the IPRC decision carefully. If the IPRC identifies your child and recommends a placement, you have the right to accept or appeal that decision. Step 4, if you disagree with the IPRC, appeal to the SEAB. What is the SEAB, you may ask? All right. You have 30 days from the IPRC decision to file an appeal with a Special Education Appeal Board, SEAB. That is the SEAB. The SEAB is a panel that reviews the IPRC's decision. They can recommend changes to the identification or placement plan that was devised for your child. Important. While the appeal is pending, the IPRC placement being appealed is not implemented. Step 5. If the SEAB doesn't resolve it, appeal to OSET. If you're still not satisfied after the SEAB decision, you can appeal to the Ontario Special Education Tribunal, OSET. Again, you have 30 days from the SEAB decision to appeal to the OSET. Most parents who appeal to the OSET are not represented by legal counsel. The tribunal is, in fact, designed to be accessible to parents. So what happens at the Ontario Special Education Tribunal, OSET? The Ontario Special Education Tribunal is the final stop for appeals about identification and placement. What do? OSET hears appeals by parents who are not satisfied with the school board's identification or placement of a child with exceptional learning needs. And here's their process. You file a notice of appeal with OSET within 30 days of receiving the SEAB decision. The school board must provide documents at least 15 days before the hearing. The tribunal will hold a hearing where both sides present their case. The tribunal can make orders about identification and placement and whatever works best for your child. A note on self-representation. Parents who appeal to OSET should be guaranteed natural justice and due process rights on behalf of the exceptional children. The tribunal may also assist parties to resolve their disputes through mediation before the actual hearing. All right? Now, if the special education appeal process doesn't resolve your concerns, there are two other powerful options in your arsenal. Option number 1, file a human rights complaint. The Human Rights Complaints Code protects people with disability from discrimination in services, including education. If you believe the school board is discriminating against your child based on disability, you can file an application with the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario. Recent cases have provided valuable clarity on the limits of accommodation in education, so it helps to pay attention to what their case precedents look like. Option number 2, file a complaint with the Ontario Ombudsman. The Ontario Ombudsman has the power to investigate complaints about the administrative conduct of school boards. Most complaints go first to the early resolution team, which uses mediation to resolve issues. Important to note here that the Ombudsman's office usually requires that you have gone above the school level before they will get involved. This means you should have already escalated to the superintendent or the director of education before you get to the ombudsman's level. So, what does all of this mean? Here's the law, here's your move. If your child is not getting the support they need, document everything, every meeting, email, and phone call. Request an IPRC meeting in writing. The principal of your child's school has a legal duty to respond. If you disagree with the IPRC appeal to the SEAB within 30 days. If the SEAB doesn't resolve the issue as presented, submit an appeal to OSET within 30 days of that decision. Consider human rights complaint if you believe there is discrimination so far as your child's education is concerned. Contact the Ontario Ombudsman if the school board's conduct is unfair. You don't need a lawyer to navigate this system. The IPRC, OSET are designed for parents like you. Your child has a right to an education that meets their needs. Fight for it. This is iChatLaw, where the law is real. And if you found this helpful, like, subscribe, and share, and turn on your post notifications. We post every weekday, Monday to Friday, daily legal updates, daily empowerment for you and your family.